Hi there, I want to do a little video, and I think I want to talk about the system. Now, obviously, I'm not very political at all. I couldn't even tell you most of the politicians. I don't vote myself. But the reason I mention this is because I had a spiritual awakening at the age of 24, and ever since then, it's been relentless information. I'm 31 now, and it's been relentless information ever since. And spiritual awakening, to cut a long story short, it's basically you're tapping into the source of all life, which is how you tap into infinite information. And this is ultimately why I talk about the system sometimes. I don't do it too much because I like to talk about many things. But, regarding the system, it's like, the man behind the curtain in the Wizard of Oz movie. You're painted a picture on television of politics and all this kind of stuff, but if you look at it, on television, they can sell you something in a certain way. It's like salesmanship. They're selling you something in a certain way, so you buy into the way they're selling it to you. But you don't really know what most people don't know what they're actually buying into. They don't know what they're actually voting for. Really, if you think about it. You're only voting something on the information you've received. But you don't know the real ins and outs, really. No one does. And, this is the thing that I think people need to think about. I'm not saying vote or don't vote. I mean, because what I've learned from this path is every choice you make makes a difference. So that's what I'll say there. Every choice you make makes a difference. So that's another thing. You've got to be careful in the choices you're making. Because if you are going to vote, you've got to be very careful that it's the right person if you are going to do it. That's just the thing. And moving on from that, regarding systematic things, it's like this 5G that's coming out just now, or what they're trying to get out. See, the whole game was to get you in a low vibrational state. This is why you see it all the time. I don't watch television, but my family do, and they'll have it on, and what you notice is it's always about presenting to you that it's a disaster. That's the real system, by the way. The real system behind the curtain, the government that you're fed, is to distract you from the real system. And this real system is all about counterintelligence. Counterintelligence, that's actually a thing. You can look up online, look up counterintelligence. I've actually done it, and I come up, which is quite interesting. But counterintelligence is the game. And basically, television is a big part of that. Television is merely a stage to present to the masses counterintelligence and feeding you a world that is a disaster. Because they're feeding you that because they want that to get into you, your subconscious, so then you believe that it's a disaster. If you think it's a disaster, whatever you think actually is what becomes. I've learned that everything's choices, so if you think, I say everything's perfect, but it's not really perfect. I'm just saying that it is. Because once you say everything's a disaster, you become in a very low vibrational state. Once you say everything's perfect, it becomes perfect. And you feel different. It's like when you live from your head, you're worried, but once you live in your heart, you find the intuitive knowing and answer for things. Right, so it's all about the system just now. The game has all been about getting you to a low vibrational state to take this 5G on, which apparently, through my own online research myself, is very damaging. But it can only get to you if you see yourself as human, because whatever you see yourself is what you become. That's why they feed you, oh, you're only human. You hear it all the time. When actually, that's something that you are told that you are. People tell you what you are, and the game is about you repeating back that. When actually, everything must come from nothing, mustn't it? I think it was Stephen Hawking that said that. That originally the universe was nothing. So everything must come from nothing. So how can you be a label then? You can't label nothing if it's nothing. These are things that they make up, and because this human label, any label in fact, puts you in a box, and that in itself is low vibrational. So the way to not get affected by anything is to understand that you are everything. The real self is the infinity of all. You are actually infinity. And this is why when I had the spiritual awakening, I went from thinking one way. I mean, for the first week, I was going crazy because I was going down one road, a very negative path, very negative. This is why I talk so much about narcissism, because I was not a narcissist, not a full-blown narcissist, but I was going down that path of insecurity, didn't have a lot of confidence. And this is how it changed me, because one minute you're thinking that you're this person, all of a sudden everything changes. It's like your whole world is upside down. And for the first week I wanted it to go away. I wanted to go back to being asleep, but it wasn't going to go away. It was time to wake up, and when it's time to wake up, it's time to wake up. It's not going to leave you. It's like when it's time to die. It's your time. But that's just it. And so yeah, when you're buying into something on the television, understand, ask yourself the question: what are we actually being fed here? How is this affecting your perceptions? Because that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game, is to get your perceptions in the way the system wants. The system needs you to suffer in order for it to gain, you see. That's why people have to suffer in the world. It's all a game. So that the system is prosperous. That's what it's all about. And it's obvious to see that that's the game. Yeah, so when you're actually watching something or whatever, ask why you're being fed it, and you'll notice that it's all disasters they're feeding you. It's all about, the planet's dying, or all this is dying. And if you weren't watching that, you wouldn't be fed that. Therefore, it can't affect your perceptions. But that's why it's there, to present this stuff to you, to get you in a state of worrying about the world. And once you're in that worrying state, you're perfect for the 5G to get to you, you see. That's the game. They've got to build you up to this, you see, because actually, originally, your natural state is infinite abundance, which is your divinity state, which is a state of just having infinite things and divine and love. But they want to get you out of that, and that's what the game has been about. They couldn't just give you 5G when you weren't a low vibrational being. They had to get you down to that, you see. Yeah, but anyway, I'm just going to end it there. This has been quite an intense talk on the system, which I don't like talking really, because I'm not political myself. I don't vote. So, and I know that people take this very seriously, and I don't want to upset anyone, but I'm just saying it based on the spiritual awakening that I've been shown. I wasn't, I'm not political, but I'm just giving my take on it based on my spiritual awakening that I had at the age of 24, and relentless information since then. But anyway, I'm just going to end it there. If you're watching, you're meant to watch it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.